like richer families, or is it like a slave trade type deal where there's like a system, it's really systematic, and they're selling them
So
like,
it's basically in the scenarios of who we worked with in Africa and in the Philippines is where we mainly did the like sex trafficking like relief. It's people who, I honestly don't know much about the people that are actually doing
right,
the bad stuff. You know what I mean? But the victims are people that live in extremely isolated villages.
okay,
Who are very, 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 very impoverished.
okay,
So
okay.
these people, I'm assuming men, will go into these villages and they basically tell the families that they have jobs in the nearest city for their daughter or for their teenager or whatever. We helped with girls youngest age 6 and up to 18, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, at least that's what we worked with. They're
Right.
probably younger, but they get basically they find anyone that's like able-bodied. They tell them they have work for them and they have a place to live and they have work for them and they're going to bring them into the city, and then the kids can send money back home, which is a huge part of a lot of different cultures.
Right.
So they would be like, we have this great job, you're going to do this stuff and you're going to like whatever. Then they would take them, and then just depending on the circumstance, they would drug them.
Yeah.
They would force them to do all kinds of things.
Yeah.
In the Philippines, we worked with women who were working at like kind of like bars, or like they would be dancers, and they're just being forced to dance and work and basically do all this stuff. And then they trap them by telling them, you know, after the fact, like, well, your family's going to disown you. No one wants you back. You're dirty now. You're unclean. You're not worthy. Your family hates you. And actually, if you go back, we know where you live and we're going to kill your whole family. And now that we're giving you a place to live and we feed you, you actually owe us money now, so you're in debt to us.
Yeah, it's literal slavery, yeah.
So now you can leave. They tell them you can leave, but you owe us money. So you're going to have to work to pay off that money. So then they work and work and work and work. Well, actually, you've still been living here for another month since you've been working, and you technically paid us, but now you owe us more because the rent went up or like whatever. So they just trap them that way.
Yeah.
So we would go in and try to basically, like, multiple things. One, explain to them that a lot of the things that they're saying are not true. Like they're not going to kill your family.
Right.
At least the ones that we were working with, like the people had never actually done anything like that we knew of. And that we had a safe place for them to come. You know, of course, it's also, and I don't blame them, a lot of girls would be skeptical of us as well, coming in and telling them, like, just come with us, you know what I mean? Because they've already been tricked once. But we would tell them basically, there's a safe place for you. If you meet us at this day, at this time, at this place, we have a place for you to live, and blah, 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 blah. And so it would be, you know, we'd wait at the spot at the time at the place that we told them, and, you know, 1 or 2 girls would come, and then they basically had a safe home for them, where no one knows the location, except for the people that work at the home, obviously, and they provide schooling for the girls depending on how, like, what level of education they are. They help them get jobs. They help them learn skills. They help them to like go to college. They, you know, there's like house moms that live 24/7 in these homes, and they make them food. And they, like I said, like if they only have a middle school education, they help them finish high school. If they have a high school education, they help them go to college, and they can live in that house up to 18. And then once they turn 18, they help them get jobs. And then they have these other homes that they, like, you know, if like 3 girls are turning 18 at once, they'll be like, okay, all of you can go like rent this house together. And they help them like get set up. And like if they have kids, they provide childcare for them. And it's basically just like a place where they can just get back on their feet and get their life back, you know? So, and we worked with a lot of different organizations, and each organization kind of had different things that they like offered. It was all basically the same thing, but like different like paths to get to the end goal, obviously.
So what was like your job when you were there? Like, would you meet with these girls? And
Yes.
like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So you were trying to literally get them out of it.
Yes, yeah. So we would go into like the dance clubs and the bars and stuff, and we would have to pay to get the women off the stage to come talk to us, and then we would basically just tell them what was going on.
Really?
And then
how do you start a conversation like that? Like, what do you say?
Yeah, we would just say like, we would just start by like getting to know them, basically asking their name and just asking them basic questions and just trying to create that like relationship first. Obviously it's more of a dire situation, so you don't have just all the time in the world to sit and talk, but we would just try to talk to them and kind of get them to open up a little bit, and then once we felt like they were ready to receive the information, then we could like give them more information.
Okay,
and
like you're literally saying there is a way out of this and we can help you.
Yes, yeah.
And did most of the time did they trust you, or were they like, no, leave me alone, or like?
No, most of the time they were really receptive. Even if they didn't show up, at least in the moment they were really receptive.
Yeah. And would they leave with you right then?
No, most of the time that was like an unsafe thing. So we would say, you know, meet us tomorrow night at midnight at like right around the corner, like where they knew, you know, we would give them an address or whatever. And like after you get off work tomorrow, we'll be waiting, you know. So then they would send a team of people to wait there at that time and wait for anyone to show up. And then if no one showed up, if one person showed up, you know, whatever the case was, then they went from there. So
wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, so it was.
Is that dangerous though too? Because you're in there trying to help them get out of that situation, and if they were to, let's say, tell their handler, and then you meet them the next night there, and their handler shows up, that could be, couldn't it?
Yeah, I guess it could be. I mean, the organizations that we worked with had like security.
Cool.
So it wasn't like just me and my other friend going. You know, when we were actually doing this like type of stuff, it was a very, very, very like thought through and very controlled process.
Cool. Yeah.
It's not just like we're just going in with, you know, these organizations are like, they have lots of funding, they have lots of setup, they have lots of like they're like ready to go.
That's cool.
You know what I mean? So
that's amazing.